Week 16 of the fantasy basketball season, and here's a few forwards I look to sell and trade this week. The first guy, Kyle Kuzma of the Washington Wizards. So Kyle Kuzma, it's been a good season for him in his first year in Washington. After that offseason trade with the Lakers, with Westbrook from Washington to LA and Kuzma and a few other players going to Washington. On the season, 16.4 points a game, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.9 threes, 46% from the field. But the last couple weeks here with Bradley Beal, who's been out of action, he stepped his game up, 22 points a game, 9 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 1.2 steals, even 1.8 blocks for Kuzma, 2.8 threes and 50% from the field. So he's having a good season, like I mentioned, in his first year in Washington. But right now he's playing at peak value. And Bradley Beal, he'll probably be out another 2 or 3 weeks. But if I could get great value for Kuzma, this is the time to do it while his value's at an all-time high. The last few games for him, January 29th at Memphis, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, a block, 4 threes, 64% from the field. February 1st in Milwaukee, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, 3 threes, 47% from the field. And February 2nd in Philly, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, again, 4 threes, 52% from the field. So he's playing great basketball. But like I mentioned, once Beal comes back, the numbers are going to drop off. And right before the trade deadline in fantasy leagues, which is coming up in the next couple weeks here, this is a perfect time to put Kyle Kuzma on your trade block and see what you could get for him. Obviously, I'm not saying just put him out there for anybody or dump him. It has to be good value. But right now, his value is tip-top for Kuzma. And I will look to sell him off this week. The second guy, Jaren Jackson of the Memphis Grizzlies. So Jaren Jackson, he was out most of last season. But this year here, he's come in and he's played good basketball for this Memphis Grizzlies team. That's definitely been a surprise in the NBA. And one of the top teams in the Western Conference record-wise. On the season, 16.6 points a game, 5.9 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 1 steal, 2.3 blocks, 1.7 threes, and 42% from the field. But the last couple weeks here, his numbers have gone up, 17.7 points a game, 6.7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 blocks a game, 1.6 threes, and 47% from the field here. So he's been on a good tear. He's been playing good basketball, like I mentioned. And this Grizzly team's been hot, winning 4 out of 5 as well. But right now, while he's playing great basketball and his blocks being the main selling point, and especially after coming off a nice double-double at the Knicks in yesterday's game, he's at peak value as well. And I look to sell him high. January 29th versus Washington, 10 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks at 30% from the field. January 31st to Philly, 18 points, 7 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 2 blocks at 41%. And then last night, the second at the New York Knicks, 26 points, 10 boards, an assist, a steal, 2 blocks, 4 threes, 57% from the field. So right there, that ball game versus the New York Knicks, one of the best games, if not the best game of the season for Jaren Jackson. And he's a steady player, no doubt about it, but I think I would look for something a little more than what he's doing, because he's pretty much a 3 or 4 category player. But if I could put him on the trade block, with blocks being obviously his top category, I want to see if I could get a better efficient scorer for Jackson and a guy who gives me rebounding and assisting as well. I wouldn't dump him for anything. But right now, after coming off a huge ball game versus the Knicks and being pretty consistent, he's definitely a sell-high candidate, in my opinion. And the third and final forward I look to sell this week's Harrison Barnes of the Sacramento Kings. Harrison Barnes, he got a big contract a few seasons ago from this King team, and he is what he is, 16.5 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 2 threes a game, and 45% from the field. Decent numbers, but nothing eye-popping. I think I could package Barnes and someone else, though, for a great player to put your team over the top here with playoff time coming sooner than later in fantasy basketball. In the last couple weeks here for Barnes, 17.8 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 threes a game, and 44% from the field here. So Barnes, he's a consistent player, no doubt about it. But he's also a guy that doesn't get much recognition for playing out there with a poor team in Sacramento over the last few seasons, after he was with Golden State winning championships 4 or 5 years ago. So January 29th at Philly, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 threes, 31% from the field. January 31st at the Knicks, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a 3, 50% from the field. And February 2nd versus the Brooklyn Nets in a shocking victory. 19 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, 3 threes, 66% from the field. So right here, like I mentioned, I could connect Barnes with another ball player who's pretty decent. And I think I could get a top 30, top 40 player in fantasy this season. Because Barnes, you know what you're going to get from him. 16, 17 points, 5-6 rebounds a game. And that's pretty much about it. His field goal ain't all that great at 45%. And he really don't give owners much at any other category. He's not an above-average three-point shooter as well. So right here, while he's playing consistent over the last month of the season, this is a perfect time to sell him. So that's a few forwards I look to trade and sell here for Week 16 of the fantasy basketball season.